Hey everybody, what's up? Brian here. So today I'm actually at Florida Drone Supply, as you can see here on the door. This is their storefront down here in Fort Myers, Florida. And so they called me this morning. They told me, hey, we've got your brand new, whatever it is you were looking for, Mavic Pro Enterprise Dual thingamajig, to come on down and pick it up. So, okay, now that we have the M2 Enterprise Dual charged up and ready to go, we've got all the settings, the controllers linked up, everything's ready. I'm gonna actually take this off and I'm gonna show you guys just how stable this drone is. This thing is amazing. It will fly just like an M210. I will actually say that this probably flies a little bit more stable than the Mavic 2 Pro. The Enterprise, with all of the features that it has in it, it's just maybe like one step or one grade better than the Mavic 2 Zoom or the Mavic 2 Pro. So let's check it out. So as you can see, that's absolutely no input whatsoever on any of the controls. And it's very windy today. It's probably 25 miles an hour. And this thing's jumping around a little bit due to the wind, but once the wind quits blowing, it's actually staying pretty solid. So there's an actual shot, an actual image of the control with the MSX on, and that was a person running across the screen. It's a little bit of glare there. I'll angle it to where you don't see so much glare. So what you'll actually notice right now is the MSX is on. If I turn the MSX off, it takes away all those neat little lines that's all over everything, and it kind of brings your image quality down just a little bit. And that doesn't necessarily bring your image quality down, but what it does do is it takes those outlines away, which doesn't give you quite the same amount of definition that MSX does. And you can go to visible, and there's your visible image. You can see me standing down there with the tripod and this in front of the camera. And then you can click your IR, and that's back to IR, and then we can go back to MSX. And MSX, you can actually see where it just puts those lines around these vehicles and around these sharp edges of these buildings. So let's go up a little bit and actually look at some vegetation. So now what you're looking at is this is actually a house and a building that's behind where we're filming at, and you can see the vegetation of the trees. It tries to give you a little bit of an outline of like the stems and the leaves and things like that, but it's nowhere near what you'll get from like an XT. But notice how it changes. The palettes it's on an automatic flat field correction, which is a really good setting. Actually has the DJI Pilot App as well as the Go 4 app, and that's one of the things that you get with the Crystal Sky and the Enterprise packages. The DJI Go 4 app is what I use on the M210 to adjust my X4S and some of my gimbal speeds and my settings, but the DJI Pilot App is actually what I fly in for everyday inspections. That's due to the fact that I'm running dual cameras, and where this has dual sensors and dual cameras, it's actually running through the DJI Pilot App as well. So what you're looking at here is the different features that's on top of the screen. You have MSX, and then we have flat field corrections. And I'm assuming that this right here is the radiometric part of the new Mavic 2 Dual. So for those of you who are concerned or wondering, this is actually a radiometric camera, because in the M210 with the radiometric thermal, this is one of the awesome features that it has. You guys can actually open this box up and it'll find its hot and cold spots. And down here in this section, it actually shows you the minimums and maximums in Celsius, and you can change that over to Fahrenheit if you would like. Then there's your spot meter in the center. So I apologize for the movement and all that, but it's a whole lot better for me to show you guys real world content instead of screen recording. These are your settings, and this is for MSX. Now, I'm not going to get too in depth with this, but what this actually does is whenever you have these lines that are drawn by the MSX technology that's in this drone, you can actually offset those, or you can adjust them to where they match up better. Sometimes if you notice, like if I move this over, see how the MSX actually moves around a little bit on the image, because you can see the lines, but then you can see the color of the thermal. So you line these up and then you make your adjustments accordingly so that everything's lined up nice and neat. So I'm going to set those back to 0. Flat field correction, and then all of the other features that's in this is the same that you've noticed in the Zoom and the Enterprise. So we're going to now go back over to the table and wrap it up. We went outside and we actually flew the drone and did a real world review. And so my take on it is that the thermal camera, for certain applications, it would be suitable. It's definitely not going to bring what this does to the table. As far as the Z30 being a 2 megapixel still shot camera and it only doing HD video, I'm not really sure that it would supersede this package. As far as having a 12 megapixel still shot, you may fare better with that. But basically this is a zoom with a thermal camera. So if you have an enterprise zoom already, then your features and abilities are going to be pretty much the same, except it's got this MSX thermal technology that's really awesome. I have seen MSX work on like some switch panels and some breaker panels, and MSX works so well on those, where Flir has developed like the 800 series handhelds, where you're able to actually depict which breaker is faulty and which switch is bad and that kind of thing. So when you looked at the images when we were outside flying without the MSX, basically you can kind of see what's out there. You can see cars and buildings, and you can see the outlines of, you know, like the structure, the trees and the people. But when you turn MSX on, you actually get a clearer image because it's overlaying the RGB with the thermal, and it's sort of blending you in a sharper image, which I would assume that it goes from like a 120 or a 160 resolution to like maybe a 336 or a 240. Not really sure about the specs on that, but it does really well. So if there's anything else that you guys would like to see me do a review on, if it's this Osmo Pocket over here, or if it's this M210 with a Z30 and an XT2, an RTK Phantom 4 like that up there, or a standard Phantom 4, or a Ronin S, or anything else DJI related product that I could possibly get my hands on, send me an email, like and subscribe, comment down below, give you the best review possible. Thanks guys, stay tuned.